Welcome everybody back to Obviously Sports. I'm your host Nathan, and this is my dad.
Ryan.
And now we are going to be talking about the WWE segment of our.
Wrong. We're talking about wrestling. Wrestling.
Someone's a little happy with their Ric Flair belt.
What's causing all this? What's causing all this? 30 pounds of gold around one hell of a man. One hell of a waist.
To start out our wrestling side of Obviously Sports, let's talk about the beginning.
Okay.
When and where did you start becoming a wrestling fan?
Thank you. And I'm glad you said wrestling fan and not sports entertainment. I started watching wrestling. I was about 5 or 6. I think just turning the channel and seeing the Iron Sheik wrestling somebody on a Saturday morning. I think that was my very first um, introduction to wrestling. But what made me fall in love with it was watching World Class Championship Wrestling with my brother and my sister. That's what made me fall in love with wrestling. So the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, Kamala, Missing Link, all of those folks is how I started with wrestling. And then as the territory started breaking up and wrestlers went elsewhere, I had knew a lot of those guys from watching the smaller companies before they went to your company, WWE. So that's what got me started. Watching it as a kid, I fell in love with it. I kind of felt like I was hip to the game before they outed themselves because I just can tell just by little certain things. Um,
So
you
you
know,
could tell when they were faking stuff.
I can tell when something was a work, and then other times I just went along with it because it was fun. I mean, when people used to argue with
At
me
the end of
about,
the day,
yeah,
it's entertainment.
yes, anyway.
So,
Hmm.
on the topic of all these wrestlers that you were talking about, the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, etc.,
Hmm.
a lot of them had some pretty memorable feuds, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Which feud of all time is your favorite?
Whew, that is a tough. That's a tough one because there are a lot of feuds that I like. Let me think this through as you're asking this question. Freebirds and Vineris was a very good feud. Like that was my like them boys made you think like they were serious the way that they would exchange blows. But that was Southern wrestling. Southern wrestling was always more gritty. Um, I, I like that feud. Austin and Bret Hart was a great feud. I love that feud. That feud for the WWE, it reminded me of like a throwback to old school wrestling back then. But probably, son, I think I might have to say Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. To be honest, I love Dusty. I like Flair, but
Ric Flair's in your top
I
five.
love the American Dream, Daddy, if you will.
Got a dog named after him and
My
everything.
dog is named Dusty Rhodes, and my Alaskan Malamute, that's a shepherd mix, is Dusty Rhodes, and the Alaskan Malamute is named, what's his name? Nikita Koloff.
How you gonna ask me that?
I just said it out loud. So anyhow, yeah, so that goes to show you how much I like wrestling. But Dusty and Ric Flair seemed so believable. It was like Hatfields and McCoy. As soon as they saw each other, it was on. Like no words had to be exchanged. It's just like soon as I saw you, you was getting the elbow, you was getting the chop, and just the build up for their matches. Um, when I was younger, I didn't really get it, but my brother used to always say, "I just want to hear them talk." And I'm like, "What do you mean you just want to hear them talk? Like, don't you want to see the action?" And it wasn't until I got older that I realized like the science of the promo to build up the matches and just how good those guys were with their promos. I can recite some of them off the top of my head, or I can remember them from when I was a kid. I don't necessarily have to go to YouTube. Um, and so yeah, and when Dusty finally got the belt from Ric Flair was a big deal, even though he didn't keep it long. But it was like he was close, 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 and something always happened. The Horseman interfered, or uh, double disqualification. The referee got knocked. It was always something. And then when we finally got the payoff of Dusty winning that belt, it was a huge deal. And he won the big gold belt, which was pretty cool because It seemed like Flair had that belt forever. So I probably pick Dusty and Ric Flair as my favorite feud. But I can name a bunch more. But for me, that was my favorite one. Because when you mess with the bull of the woods, baby, the son of a plumber, Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Four Horsemen, try to put hard times on American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Anyway,
You feel very strongly about them.
well, I can say more.
Moving on past your favorite all-time feud,
Mhm.
if you were to pick a feud from right now, what
Mhm.
would it be? Like from this current era, what would you say has been your favorite feud?
My favorite. When you say current era, we're talking about like right now, present.
Like I would go like a year ago, Matt. Like within like the last year.
You know, um, I like what they were doing with the Hurt Business with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin,
Hmm.
MVP as their manager. Slash, he wrestled on occasion, and Cedric Alexander. They actually got me watching wrestling again, WWE. The Hurt Business, and then Cody coming back also got me watching. I think they disbanded the Hurt Business too soon. I think they could have done more, and I liked Bobby as a bad guy. Um, but a few that I would like to see. I don't watch current wrestling as much. You probably know better than me of current stuff, but I like this guy Gunther.
Yep.
I like his
I see.
well I like I like
Champ.
I like how his group is very militant and very serious.
Put some respect on their names.
Yeah. So the Ring General, I think is what they call him, and I like
Yes.
how he whip off
Yes, sir.
his cape. His guy Kaiser does that. I think him. They moved him to Raw, right?
I think so.
I think him and it kind of seems like they're trying to move him from a mid-level wrestler into that upper tier. And so I can see him with a good feud with Seth Rollins. Because Seth has grown on me. Seth is a good entertainer. He's a good wrestler. He's good on the microphone. Anybody would have a good match against him. And Gunther is a believable bad guy. And I think those two could have a good feud.
One more thing I want to touch on before we have this segment end for the day is I want to know just some wrestlers right now that you are a fan of. You said you like Gunther. Who are some other people you're a fan of? I'll give my examples first. I'm a big Austin Theory guy. A-Town Down. You already know.
I like him too. I like his new character better than the selfie one.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I do like Seth Rollins. I do like Gunther. I like, for no apparent reason, for it's literally the most random one. I really like,
Dominic Mysterio.
no, I do like Dominic's new character. I do like how they're playing him. But
They're making that work because he is very
hated.
easy to hate.
He's so easy to hate. I really like Montez Ford, and then finally,
Mm.
I like Paul Heyman right now a lot. I love what Paul Heyman is doing with these three belts, walking around like he's all the stuff. Like he won the belts himself. He has all three on his shoulders. Like, yeah, my client does this.
I'm that dude. Huh?
He does this for a living. I'm his manager. I'm that guy.
His advocate. For me, on the current, how many people did you name?
I named Gunther, Austin Theory, Montez Ford, like 5.
Okay. Charlotte Flair.
Big time Charlotte Flair fan.
I love
I
Charlotte.
think
I like Montez Ford also as like a future rising star. I think he needs to have his Shawn Michaels moment with D'Angelo, and somebody needs to turn on somebody. They need to split them up. Gunther, Shush, Chad Gable. How many is that?
4.
And then Cody Rhodes. And I like Cody not because of his daddy, but because he decided that he was going to take his identity and career in his own hands, and he did a good job at it and reinvented himself, created this American Nightmare personality.
After the American Dream.
Well, yep, he was the antithesis of his daddy. He turned to a bad guy when he was on the indie circuit, and he likes being a good guy. he likes being a fan favorite. I mean, he shake hands and give away his belts like a Bret Hart or Kerry Von Erich and them guys used to do. So even though I typically am a bad guy person, I like that he's a good guy who can actually wrestle and like being a good guy. He's not just he's not just the machine that the company decided to push through. We play a video game, and one of these days we're going to give you guys a sneak peek of how me and my boys get down on old school.
Spoiler alert, I'm the best.
He is. He took the mantle, but that's all right. I know how. When you are the best, there's nowhere for you to go but down.
Thank you for watching this wrestling segment with this nerd. And that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching. This has been Obviously Sports. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace out. 8 sound.